Hey there, what you up to now? Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, documenting my journey as I transition from the brick and mortar world to the online world of business. Actually started it in about 2017. Thank goodness, because when 2020 hit, you definitely wanted to be online. If you weren't online, it was a good time to get online. I've been telling people for years, even before I personally got online, that the internet, you wanted to have an online virtual component to your business, no matter what your business is. And now, given that we've got a new curfew of 10 p.m. in my hometown, not because of anything we've done, but we had a stabbing on Sunday, and the mayor and the city council decided that in order to counteract that, we're going to have a 10 p.m. curfew for everybody. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's overreaching. I think there's a lot of other solutions that could have been considered. But like everybody else, we're just going to jump on the bandwagon. We're going to shut down our businesses. We're going to curtail people's livelihood, and we're going to just hope for the best. It's ridiculous, but that's just my opinion. So often we jump to conclusions and we make decisions and choices that impact everyone instead of dealing with the problem, dealing with the real root cause problem. Instead of dealing with the root cause problem, they copy what everybody else is doing in the democratic cities and states and just decided, we're going to lock you down and take away your freedoms. I personally woke up thinking in my brain and the song playing through my head, I'm proud to be an American. And I don't know why, but it's been stuck in my head all morning because at least I know I'm free. And that, I think it's stuck in my head because I don't think we feel like we're absolutely free anymore. I think that during COVID, we have been lied to and manipulated by the media during this entire year on so many fronts and about so many things. It is ferociously frightening. I guess that's all I can say. But let's talk about what I'm doing as I work on my online businesses. Because for the most part, that's just stuff, and it doesn't actually impact my day-to-day activity. And what I'm doing to create a difference in the world is because that's what I want, right? I want to make the world a better place. There's a whole lot of us that want to make the world a better place. And most of them aren't in politics or in the media. So what are we doing? Today, Get Up and Go Challenge, day 10. And we talked about the SOAP framework. I just introduced the SOAP framework and how we're going to clean up our own personal act and guarantee that we always have better results after any change or challenge that we face than before we faced a change or challenge or an obstacle or a failure or a setback or a success. Guess what? Some of the most important times for me personally to actually apply the SOAP framework and the SOAP process are when I have a success. Number one, so that I learn from that and I do more of that, but also so that I don't get stuck in celebrating, or for me, so I don't just whiz right by it and do the next thing. So I actually learn from that as much as I learn from the past mistakes or challenges that I've had. I want to apply it there as well to capture those lessons learned. We need to learn lessons from every experience we have in life, right? So that we don't repeat the negative ones, but we do purposefully repeat the positive ones. So introduce the SOAP framework, ask people what area or aspect in their life they want to see the first example on, because we're going to go on a deep dive and go through SOAP over the next 4 days for a specific area of life, either physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, or contribution. We're going to pick one. I'm going to let the group pick. Just pick. Tell me which one you want to start with, because I've done all of them hundreds of times, right? On myself and with other people to work our way through a framework and to install this framework into our subconscious, just like we already have. You already have lots of frameworks, lots of habits, lots of routines and rituals that you use every single day. I don't know anybody, unless they have a breathing disorder, that has to tell themselves consciously to breathe during the day, right? We have frameworks and processes that run our bodies. We have frameworks and processes that run our thinking, our beliefs, our emotions, our spiritual functioning, our finances. Some of what we do to obtain finances in the financial area of our life are automatic. If you have a job and you go to work every day, or if you work from home every day during COVID, part of what you do financially is automatic. You go to work, you show up every day, right? You get a paycheck, you pay your bills. Our relationships, unfortunately, some of our relationships become very automatic. And there's routines and rituals and understandings you have when you live with other people that have to be that way. But sometimes we need to step back. We need to say, okay, is this still working for us? Do I feel bad? Do I feel good about this? What can we change? What can we do differently to make this situation better? We do what we can with what we've got right now, and we continually improve on that. But we have to appreciate and be grateful for what's happened in the past that served us, and learn from the things that we think haven't served us very well. Because guess what? Those lessons learned from those mistakes and from those things that we've been challenged with, those are actually the things that turn out to be the impetus or the motivation behind what really drives us to do anything differently, actually to do anything. You know, they say we do more to avoid pain than to gain pleasure. And I think it's absolutely true. People buy insurance. The entire insurance agents industry is predicated on preventing loss, eliminating or alleviating or reducing the pain that would come from loss. Guess what? It's all made up too, right? 90% or more, and I'm sure the insurance industry, I'm not in that, they could tell you the exact statistics of the probability of certain things happening or not happening. Heck, we should have them analyzing the election results, and I guess we would probably see a very different picture than we're seeing right now. Anyway, total aside. So we're going to go through the SOAP framework over the next 4 days. Just basically introduced it. Didn't even say what the S, the O, and the A, and the P stand for today, because I want people to just tell me, what area do you want to work on a framework in? I personally have a lot of frameworks that I use on a regular basis. Who, what, where, when, why, and how is a journalistic framework that I learned probably learned it in grade school, but I definitely learned and applied it in high school as the editor of our school paper. And we used who, what, where, when, why, and how for everything. But I also took that into college and the rest of my life for gathering information and investigating things and finding out what was really going on, looking for the root cause of problems and situations. And there's a problem solving decision making framework. There's a framework in business and in my life for like almost everything. And I taught a lot of those frameworks to my kids. I'll never forget, my daughter was 8 and she won a puppy from the Pheasants Forever banquet. She won a little black lab puppy and she wanted to name that puppy. So she used nominal group technique to name her puppy. And over the next 3 days, we were all voting and doing nominal group technique on all the names that she could possibly name her puppy. I don't know very many 8-year-olds that even know, I don't know very many adults that even know what nominal group technique is, much less an 8-year-old. So we share those frameworks, we share those things with our children and with other people, and some you'll adopt and use, others you'll never use. I do not remember the last time I personally did a nominal group technique. It's probably been the mid 2000s because it hasn't been an appropriate tool for what I need to do. But there's a whole bunch of those that we all have, and they're all in there. If we learned it once, it's in our memory banks, it's in our brain somewhere. We just need to find ways of accessing it. So SOAP framework, excited to go through this. I didn't used to call it SOAP framework. I just started calling it the SOAP framework because of COVID. It just seemed like SOAP was the perfect acronym for the time that we're facing for 2020. It's just been such a crazy year. And I'm even thinking that it might be kind of fun to actually get some soap made to go along with the framework and maybe do some fun copy and graphics with that. And then if people actually use and apply it and maybe share an example of the SOAP framework, we'll send them a bar of soap. I want to get a cool soap though, not a, this is just soap that I use marker to, because I had bars of soap and I wanted to actually have something physical that I could look at and remember and show people. But it'd be fun to do soap, right? Or to do t-shirts, soap t-shirts or something. I don't know. We'll have to think about it. Soap fun. Soap stuff just to remind us on a daily basis to actually let our soap work. Yeah, let our soap work. Get in the shower, lather up, let it work. Let it clean you off. Let it give you a new perspective and a different way of looking at things. All right, so that was our soap. That was our challenge for the Get Up and Go challenge today. Again, we got another 21 days going with that. We're going to do it through the entire month of December. I started it for pretty selfish reasons to make sure that I was going to get through this challenge unscathed, but it's grown to be so much more, and I think that's the best part of it. It's grown and morphed and changed over each iteration and continues to change as we go through. I know last year I had a sleepover with my granddaughter, and so we had an off day. We had a day where it was just a catch-up day, and I think it was day 11, which was a good time to do it, but I'm not going to do that this time, although we are having a sleepover Saturday in a couple of days, so we'll see. But I'm not gonna, I do the videos and I do the lessons anyway. All right, fun challenge today was about how do you learn best? What is your best mode and way of learning? I personally think and believe that I learn best by actually hands-on doing, on the job doing, and then once I've been shown a process and how to do it, I like to work with it myself with my hands and physically do it to come up with the best way of doing it for me, the most efficient, effective, quality, results. The result has to be the desired result. But I look at that process, any process, and I say, okay, here's what it is, here's what it's been. Now, is this, and then do it. And is this the best way to do it? Is this the actual best way to do it? Or I work with people that actually do the process over and over and over again to make sure that they've got the best process going, because everything can be improved, right? I honestly believe at my core that continuous improvement and expansion and growth is the nature of everything, and that we can always find a better, faster, easier, more efficient, or more effective way of doing anything we do and anything anyone else does. I think of your own habits. I've got a morning routine, and my morning routine has morphed and changed over the last, God, 3 or 4 decades, and it's changed to be something different. And as things change in my life, it changes and adjusts to support me. And I don't, stoically stick to a routine. When it stops serving me, I change something up in it. Or if I need to add or subtract something for a short period of time to get a result I want, then I do that as well. So nothing is always fixed and changed. But hands-on learning, it is for me. What is it for you? Maybe you read, and that's how you learn things best. I went to college a long time and got lots of degrees, but reading the book and then reciting what I learned from the book didn't necessarily serve me the best. I took, 8 years of German, maybe more. Probably 10 years. I probably took 10 years of German, but because I haven't been able to use that language, there's not much cause in, Western Wisconsin to use German, unless I'm talking to my kids because they know some German too, but we don't do it very often. So if you don't use it, you tend to lose it. So 10 years I spent learning German, yet I don't know that maybe I'd pick it up again really quickly if I was in Germany, but for the most part, it was something I learned by reading and actually reciting and doing in class. I found full essays written in my handwriting in German, and I'm like, I must have written this. It's in my handwriting, but I have no recollection of it, or even, and I didn't really read it. I was just going through some old stuff from my parents' house when they moved. And I'm like, wow, it's just interesting to think 10 years of my life I spent learning something and I never use it, or very rarely use it or do it. I mean, if there's a movie with German in it, I understand it, but it doesn't mean I'm going to go out and speak it and have a conversation with somebody in German. I think I've probably had, since I was done learning German, maybe 5 conversations with somebody in German that was their native tongue. Maybe 5. And that's, it's really something important to know about ourselves. How do we learn best, and how do we retain what we learn? I think all of the things that I learned in college, for the most part, the only things that I brought with me are the frameworks and the things that I learned. I did learn some good frameworks in college. In my quality courses in engineering, I learned, plan, do, check, act. I still use plan, do, check, act all the time, automatically in my life. It's a lot like the SOAP framework. I just automatically do it without even thinking about it now, and it gives me better results than if I didn't do that. So there's lots of frameworks that we use. So fun challenge, how do you learn best? Supersize your business challenge, or share today for business owners, was about, I share an idiom every day. I got to doing it when I was moving, and I kind of discovered that I wanted to not do it for a while, but I've done so many, I kind of like doing it because it's a way to wake up my brain and help me to view things differently and be more open-minded and be more flexible and think about, well, how could this affect my business? How could I use this to apply to my business? So today's was, appearances can be deceiving. Seem to have a theme going on, but I just started looking up idioms online, and I'm in the A's. There's a dictionary of idioms and a dictionary of expressions that's got like 20,000 entries or something. And so as I'm going through those, I'm trying to remember, okay, what are the ones that we've already done? Because I think we've done, over 600, over 650. So that's a lot to remember over the last couple of years. What have I done? What haven't I done? So sometimes I look in the book. I have a book of 600 plus idioms that I started initially doing this out of. And sometimes I go back, and I actually wanted to quit doing the book because I was getting down to, I would randomly select one, and I was getting down to the ones that I'd seen, but I'd overlooked like dozens of times because I didn't know how they were going to fit with how to grow your business. And it took more energy and time for me to figure those out. They were the more challenging ones to figure out what's the connection between this particular idiom and expression and how it would impact or how you could use it to grow your business. And so I did finish that book finally, and now I've gone online just to different dictionaries. I thought, well, I'm just going to start with A's. So I've been doing A's for this week, and a lot of them are all about, negative things, like appearances can be deceiving. Well, absolutely. And so how do you take that and turn it into a positive, and then make sure that you're doing and making the appearance of your business be positive to the people that you're trying to serve. So it's kind of fun to figure that out. And it's kind of like a tongue twister or a brain teaser. It's a good active way of me continuing to learn and grow by just reminding myself and looking into, well, what does this mean to me? What could this mean to me? How could I apply this to my business? What experience have I had with this particular expression? Because I've had a lot of experience with appearances can be deceiving, right? We've all, our entire life, judge things based, 4 seconds. We judge a person. We figure them out in 4 seconds, and we make our assumptions about them. We do it. It's human nature. We do it automatically because we go to our reptilian brain where do we need to be afraid? Do we need to run away? Do we need to, fight or flight? Do we need, is there a threat? We ask ourselves those on a very core level automatically to continue our existence. So that was the topic for today. And I'm going to continue to do that. I don't know how long, maybe I'll change my mind next year and I'll do something else. But for right now, that's what I do every day to serve that group as an aside and content type building thing versus what I actually do to help people with their businesses, with their lives moving forward on a group and one-to-one basis. So I'll continue to do that because it keeps me moving forward, at least through, the turmoil and the craziness that's going on right now. I'll continue to do the things that work for me to keep me moving forward. And that happens to be creating this content. What else is going on? Challenge Summit early 2021, kind of looking at the calendar, deciding when. I want to decide when I want it to be because that determines how quickly and how I filter through the people that I ask to be a part of it. If I want it to be February 1st, I will have more opportunity to, or I don't even know what February 1st is. I just took that out of my hat. If I wanted it to be sooner, I would filter people by who can make themselves available sooner rather than later. Now, is that the best way to do a summit? I don't know. Do I have dream people I would like to be on the summit? Absolutely, positively. But will they? I don't know. Depends on what their schedules are, what their priorities are, and what's going on with them. It's probably got nothing to do with the summit or me. It's got to do with, is it a priority? Is it a fit for them? Is it in alignment with what they're working on? Things like that. So that's what I'm working on. That's all I've got today. I'm going to pop into and get busy because I've got a ton of commitments and I want to have a fun sleepover with my granddaughter, which means that over the weekend, I'm probably not going to do much with respect to work. So I want to clear my schedule and make sure I don't have any commitments on that would interfere with an amazing sleepover. All right. Have a great day. If I can help you in any way, answer any questions. If you're just struggling and you're not sure what to do next and you don't have anybody to ask, just ask. I might not know the answer, but I guarantee I know how to help you get to the next step and get the answer that you need. Take care. See you tomorrow.